All right, Mustafa, are you ready? Hey everyone, welcome to STEAM in AI Inner Circle Live Lab, where we bring you insider conversations with STEAM in AI graduates, AI professionals, college admission officers, and independent education counselors to help you navigate this AI college and career jungle. Parents often ask, what does it actually take for a student to go from high school to companies like Roblox? No theory, not courses, real outcomes. Today, we are going to break that down for you. And what makes today especially valuable is you are not just hearing from someone who made it to Roblox, you are hearing from someone who actively mentors students on how to get there as a STEAM and AI mentor. Welcome, Mustafa.
Hey, so nice to be here.
Very nice to have you. How's it going? How's your Sunday going?
It's good. It's good. I am, of course, enjoying the Cali weather, and yes, it's great to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Pleasure to have you. So let's start with your journey, Mustafa. I know somebody doesn't just start working at Roblox. There is a lot of sweat and tears and hard work that goes into getting where you are today. So give us a quick snapshot of what you are working on at Roblox today. Who are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, of course, of course. So at Roblox specifically, I work on their game engine too. And so this is where we design all of the physics of how Roblox works, right? When the little guy that you have on your screen jumps and then he or she touches the ground again, just the logic of how that works is kind of the domain that I followed. So very interesting product there. And specifically what we're working on is testing and test automation. How do we make sure that the physics engine works properly? How do we provide that to all of the creators who come onto our application? How do we provide it to people that are internal to Roblox that actually want to go and test their functionality that they're in? So a lot of cool stuff from that.
Wow, that is really cool stuff. I have known you for so long, but I don't think I've understood in depth or we have talked about this to the extent that wow, this little guy that jumps on the screen, that's your team doing that and making sure he jumps properly or she jumps properly, one square or two squares, whatever the intention is.
Exactly.
Amazing. Wow. So what is exactly the physics engine?
So think of it how at the end of the day, it's some kind of code, right? We need to run a program. It needs to render a set of objects, and then those objects need to interact with each other the same way that I, for example, would go and pick up this water bottle, right? And so those same kind of interactions need to be coded. You need to be able to build a data representation of what an individual looks like and how they would interact with another object and what their role is within the grand scheme of the game itself. So being able to put all of those moving parts together and then render it so that people can create games on the platform and subsequently children or adults can come and actually consume and use them.
Yeah, and so is your team also involved in like creating the scenes for the games, or is it the mechanism, the building blocks, and then the game
Exactly.
designers would actually design those things?
Yep, the latter. So it's like we want to provide the platform, we want to give them the keys to do virtually whatever they want. And they come in and they design whatever it is they
Yeah, and I'm not a Roblox user, a big Roblox user, or even a small one to say, but I've heard that it's not only for kids, like you alluded to, there are plenty of games even for adults, right?
Exactly, exactly. And Roblox has recently started pushing towards exploring that space more and more because we know that kids already play Roblox, but we know that there's also an untapped market for individuals that are 18 plus that also like to play games that
Yeah, and with this small, shorter attention span, and everybody is hooked on to these little screens, it's perfect to have a little game here and there while you're waiting at the doctor's office or at the bus stop or what have you, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay. So when did you first start building or exploring tech?
Yeah, yeah. This goes back to when I was 16. And so I had a cousin, and he was just starting out his tech career at a fintech company. And so I remember sitting with him one day, and when you're 16, when you're in junior year, that's especially when you start contemplating on what you actually want to study in college.
Mm.
And he was in the process actually of getting a visa to the United States. And it was not very intuitive, that actual process on how you can have observability on where your visa status is, when you're going to actually get a response or a progression, et cetera, et cetera. And so he showed me how within the span of 2 or 3 days, he put together a couple of scripts. He interacted with the database or not necessarily the database, but the actual website. And he did a web scraping job that just pulled all of the data and told them, all right, where are you in line? When can you expect to actually get a response?
Oh, wow.
And just the concept of that he was able to sit in his room and do that and hack away at something like that because of the skill set he built, that's what captivated me to be like, I want to learn how to code. And that's when I started slowly introducing myself to Python, to lead code problems, data structures, algorithms, just that kind of algorithmic thinking. And I started building small projects here and there to kickstart me on my tech journey.
And you were a junior in high school at that time?
That's correct. Yep.
Oh, wow. So you started and before that did you have any other coding
I
experience?
had not touched a line of code, no.
Oh, wow. Okay. And would you say, were you self-taught or how did you start this journey?
Yeah, definitely. I think it came from my own initiative. School can teach you a lot of things, but it's really up to the individual themselves to go in and teach themselves. And I think it's all within reach too.
So you self seeked
Yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I would go and I'd watch YouTube videos, and of course, I learned the hard way that if I had a bit more of a structured learning guide or a plan or some kind of mentorship, then I would probably make it a lot and a lot quicker. But that's how I learned.
The progress would be faster, but yeah, it's still doable on your own. Awesome. And so would that be the key moment that you would say that changed the trajectory of your life, or are there other such key moments looking back?
I would say that was definitely one where I taught myself to learn how to code. And I guess specifically for my career, yeah, that was a key point. And then the second being just taking initiative and continuing to seek out opportunities, seek out internships, seek out chances to just learn and continue to build on my skill set.
So you are a junior in high school, you start to learn coding, Python, data structures on your own, self-initiative, you build some small projects and you're hooked.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. And you've decided that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life.
And here we are doing it today. Yeah,
Yes, yes. Okay, so that you decided that this is what you want to do in college and as a career. Awesome.
exactly. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and let's put on Mustafa as a STEAM in AI mentor hat for a sec. And how do you work with students at STEAM in AI and with us? So you have worked with students inside STEAM in AI. What is the biggest difference between students who progress quickly versus students who stay stuck?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. I think it all comes down to the students' initiative and drive to learn and iterate themselves. Of course, we can provide a structured program, we can provide the curriculum, but the student themselves must be enthusiastic. And that can only be enabled, of course, one, with an energetic mentor or someone who brings the best out of them, but two, also from the student having actual passion in what they are trying to deliver. And I've noticed that when students are enabled to do that, they are great, they are extremely successful in what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so a passion project is something that they care about they would be far more successful at it than doing something because they have to, even if it is learning how to code, but learning how to code uh, to solve a problem that they care about, which is what STEAM in AI helps them do, build a personalized project around what they are interested in. So, what are the most common patterns you see when students are not successful? Is it lack of direction, no project depth? They are afraid of iteration. They are afraid to even start to do something on their own. What are the key things that come to mind?
Yeah, I think lack of direction is one, right? And that problem inherently gets solved when you, of course, have a structure, but more so you have that problem in your mind that I want to solve this problem and I'm going to iterate. And then the other thing is when the iterations become stale, right? You always want to, when you iterate, you want to see some kind of tangible project or progress within your project, right? So those two patterns, um, are definitely enhanced when you are provided a structure and you are provided someone to continue to push you towards exceeding your expectations.
Yeah, completely agree with you. So, what happens when students go from learning to building and getting feedback?
Yeah, I think it all kinds of it falls in place, right? Students can come in with varying ranges of experience, and we kind of throw them in the deep end with these different tools. We're like, hey, look, this is what we want to accomplish, and we're going to teach you the foundation and the skill set on how you can utilize these tools to the best of your ability. And then they're thrown out in that deep end to be like, let's go and produce something. Let's see what we can do. And then let's continue to iterate on that. So, like in the same way how we kind of design software, where we start with a prototype and then we iterate, we get feedback, and we continue to improve it the same way that learning process is exhibited in our sessions.
Yeah, and so in this 12 weeks that we have the intensive, you follow the same process that you would follow at Roblox, for example.
Exactly.
Awesome. And so can you walk us through how a typical and what a typical student starts with, and then how they are able to progress with a STEAM and AI mentor like you?
Yeah, of course. It all starts with an idea, right? And of course they whether they are attending the curriculum or they've already attended the curriculum, they have some background knowledge. They have a catalyst to go and deliver on this project. They have a bit of a skill set, right? And that's where they start. They have the ability to think about something that they're very passionate about. They come with a project and a completely abstract project. And then what we are able to do is take that project, decompose it, target all of the different pieces, and we can deliver a tangible output, something that they can practically use and talk about wherever it is that they may go next with their careers.
So yeah, give us an example of a student. I know this feels great, but still feels a little abstract. So let's talk specifics. Like think of a student that you've mentored recently. Where did they start? What was their passion about? What did they want to build, and how did you help them?
Of course. Yeah. So we had course, the pleasure to work with a college freshman girl. And she came with a,
High school freshman.
or sorry, high school freshman boy. Yes,
Yes.
she was 14 years old and she had a passion for dermatology. Her parents were also both in the medical space. And so she naturally had a passion and inclination towards the medical field, specifically dermatology, right? And so she came to STEAM and AI wanting to leverage AI to provide actual solutions for dermatology. Specifically, how can we create an experience for people to be able to routinely check on their skin, and how can we leverage AI to make the experience as best as possible, right? So this was the idea that she had. We wanted to break this down, turn it into something, right? And so what we did is we scoped out an actual plan. We were like, we want to build out an AI workflow. Is that when you are interacting with an actual AI system, how do we make sure that you can interact with it in a way that it sounds like a dermatologist talking to you, that they sound qualified, that they're providing the right context? And then subsequently, how can we continue to reuse that system so that we can iterate, so that we can track skin progress and see if someone's progressing or regressing, and how the AI can continue to adapt to that, those kinds of things. And so what they were able to build is that we took that AI workflow, we plugged it into both a mobile application as well as a website. That website is live right now. She is able to share that with her family, her friends. She built an application that she wants to put out in the App Store. And putting all of this together, we now even guided her to go and integrate with a dermatology office to go and kickstart this and actually get real users. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah. And to piggyback on what you said, I want to add a little more context. So, yes, she wanted to build something with dermatology related, but when she came to us, she had just finished middle school. She was a rising freshman. It was a summer when, it was between middle and high school. Very young, never coded before, didn't even know what AI is or what AI could do, wasn't confident in her ability to code or let alone build an entire system. But what she was passionate about from her own problem was the skincare, like acne, because of teenagers, they have these skin problems, and her own experience of going and seeing a dermatologist and eh, the guidance that dermatologists gave in between the sessions, like you would meet them once a month for like 10 minutes, and whatever advice they would give you, whether that's working or not, how do you keep a track? Yes, when you go back, the doctor has some notes, but there's no way of having a continuity of what she did between that time when she saw the dermatologist last month to this month. So all of that was a pain point, personal pain point, which we then helped into creating together and creating a story and an app and a solution for her. And that's where you came in. And so she first started with another mentor for her 12 weeks summer intensive, and she built an MVP, which is a minimal viable product. And she loved the entire process so much that she decided to continue working on it. And that's when that her first mentor was from NVIDIA. And then when she wanted to continue, we brought you, and you got a chance to work with her, and a Roblox mentor. So she's had amazing mentors from NVIDIA and Roblox, and then you helped her to take it from just an MVP to a full-fledged web app that is live. People can go and see it. She submitted that to the Presidential AI Challenge. It's open for friends and family. And then she didn't stop there. Then she worked with you to even take it to the App Store. Her, again, passion and intention is to create a bigger impact with not just with that product, but even with for people who don't have access to dermatologists because they are expensive. And people who do have, like you said, access to them, she wants to pair with the dermatologist offices, see where this can go, and create a bigger impact as like a skin checker or a tracker per se. So I definitely want to take a pause here and say Mustafa did such an excellent job. The parents were a little hesitant, like this is a young student who has never coded before, and will she be able to build anything? And how comfortable will she be? And whether this would be something she can pull off. And you did such a great job that our parents are so glad that you like even time management. She learned so much with spending the weekly sessions with you, that her parents said that we would have to tell her like, oh, it's your class, get ready, this and that for other things, but for your session she would, and my session, like our sessions, she would be on top of it. She would put it in her calendar and tell her parents that, oh, I have to run, I have to go. And they're like, why? If they were eating dinner and she's like, I have to run. And they're like, why do you have to go? And they're like, oh, I have a class today, STEAM in AI class today. So it's amazing when you see, like you said, students who are passionate about uh, something, and then they can only be successful if that project is something that they are passionate about. Otherwise, it will not come to them. So great job, Mustafa. So I have seen big change in that student's confidence from like how shy and timid she was as a rising freshman, and she's still a freshman. It's only been less than a year, and she's continuously worked with you and me. And she's still in ninth grader, but how do you see her confidence and direction has changed working with you?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think her being able to actually deliver something that's tangible which was she went from just an idea when she started with Steam and AI all the way to an actual product that's live out there for anyone to use. Her working through that diligently and us encouraging her to continue to work on that and bring the best out of her really brought her to a point where she now has the confidence, even just at a very broad level, that she knows if she wants to do something, she wants to accomplish something, she is more than capable of doing so. And we were able to exemplify that with just her wanting to go and build something for dermatologists and for people who maybe don't have access to dermatologists, and now she has simplified them.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And this is a great success story. I mean, and more to come because once she is able to actually um, get it, it's almost ready for the App Store, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So once she gets it there and then it's available to people who don't have access and all of that, a lot of things would change. And now she can, like if she wanted to use this as a pre-med track, she could use that. If she wanted to go in as a business major, that's also an option. If she wanted to go into data science or CS, now she has all the doors open for her because of this one strong project. And she started young, so she's going to continue working on it and she will be able to show so much impact by the time she's writing college applications, which really makes me like, her mom was asking me like, oh, there's another this summer, should I put her into another program or this and that? And I was like, it's not about chasing number of programs, it's about doing one thing well. And if she's really passionate about this project and she's able to continue working on this and show impact on where she took it, how she did it, that speaks volumes more than her doing five programs and doing different projects and different things but shorter ones. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. If you can just increase the depth in what you're doing and you can showcase that, that shows wonders. And I have firsthand experience with the college application process that I have seen it with my own eyes. That when you have something that's so great, even if it's just one thing, that can be the tip over that individual.
Yeah. And I'm sure in even in companies nowadays, the whole interview process, this multiple rounds, like 5 rounds, 6 rounds of interviews. Yes, there is an online coding assessment, but then after that, all the assessment fit is like so much of it is project based. What would you say to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's always the technical, and I think the technical most people can learn. That's not necessarily the barrier. That's the object. The subjective is what's really matters. It's that you're coming to the table, what's your differentiator? And these projects are exactly what will make you stand out. It's that you're able to make a real world impact. You're able to deliver on something and you're able to see it all the way.
And the passion really comes through. I remember, so many kids who have graduated now and they have found jobs and they come back and they tell stories on where they are. And I keep a tab on them and regularly check in. And they tell me like, oh, this is the job I got. This is the internship I got. And I asked them what were the questions of the interview. And a lot of them revolve around projects. So the resume is there, but they are talking about, okay, so tell me, it's not about the courses that you completed or the courses you took in school or the grades you got, but that's all like a table stakes. That's there. That will get you the resume in the door. But more than that, now when you're talking to somebody like a panel of people or multiple rounds of interviews, it goes back to like, okay, tell me about this project. What did you do here? And what they're trying to gauge is like whether the passion is coming through from from that project that you have written. Is it something that you actually did? Because you can't fake an experience. You can say that you did it, but when you're talking about it, if you don't have the depth of knowledge, if you really didn't do it, you will not be able to tell a holistic, accurate story about, what were the pitfalls, what were the challenges, how you built it, the technical and the non-technical around it. And those are the tells. Like people can tell that this is something maybe ChatGPT conjured for you, and that's not a project you really did, or you have shallow depth of knowledge and it was something that you just came up with, but didn't actually do, went all the way through with the project. What would you say to that, Mustafa?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, right? And it all goes down to, as you said, the passion. And it's that when you're able to deliver something you're passionate about, you're able to see it through. It's not fabricated, of course. You're naturally able to talk so much more in depth about it and showcase the actual enthusiasm that you have going through the project because you actually did it and you actually saw the outcomes. So I couldn't agree.
Yeah. Well, did that happen to you when you were interviewing for Roblox?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They asked me a lot about, of course, there were the technicals, like there were 3 or 4 rounds of technicals, but then we had a round or 2 rounds of behaviorals. And that's what they focused on. They were like, what were the different projects you did in the past? How did you see them through? What were your biggest accomplishments? Things of that nature. And of course, when I addressed them with that kind of passion, that's what set me apart from others.
Do you want to share a project that you either put on their resume or not, but something that you are passionate about and you built?
Yeah, of course, of course. So maybe a bit more or less on the building side, but still nonetheless a very passionate project. I had the opportunity to work with my school and I led a team of 5 consultants, right? And our job was to go and conduct a bunch of research on the ADAS side of things, which is autonomous vehicles. You have your Waymos, you have all of your efforts with Google. And so we were contracted by Bosch to actually do it. And so being able to actually see that and well, that was something that was already in my field and I was passionate about. I could sit there and talk to you about it for hours. And so just being able to put my passion into a project, see it through all the way to the end. And then of course, when I'm prompted about it later, people can see the passion and people can see the outcome and how we were able to deliver on that. That's just such a big differentiator. I cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah, and it's not fake, it's real. Very true. Awesome. Yeah, I have seen your LinkedIn post about that. So, yes, and I know it's awesome that you were able to get that project from Bosch and lead it with your team. So would you say that mentorship is a force multiplier as compared to somebody who is, self-learning or doing online courses, following a school curriculum? And what would you say that students miss when they're learning on their own versus they have structured guidance?
Yeah, of course. I think there's two different pathways I want to take this down. But the first is that I alluded to this in the beginning, right? I had learned coding on my own. I tried building new things. And while of course I do not regret any of it, I enjoyed every step of the way, building myself up from 0 to 100 or 0 to 100 is had I had the guidance, I believe I would have been able to do significantly greater things in a shorter amount of time and actually learn the right things rather than go for breadth. And you also addressed this earlier, it's a lot more beneficial to do one thing and do it thoroughly than it is to do 5 or 6 things and only have breadth and at a very shallow level of understanding. And so had I had that mentorship, that would have done levels for me. And then the second pathway I want to take this down is that in college, I saw this first, right? One of the biggest things was that there's of course the school curriculums and there's the things you can teach yourself, the resources that they provide. But from the get-go, I was focused on how do I create impact? How do I make myself someone that will be differentiated? I actually, funny enough, came from a non-target school. I'm now at Georgia Tech. But that is what still made me eligible to go for these big companies was that I sat there, I focused on the things that mattered, which was delivering impact, going and working with companies, going and working on projects in which I could showcase and exemplify that I can take a technical skill, not just show my proficiency in it, but actually use it to deliver something tangible. And that's exactly what STEAM and AI does. Had I had the opportunity to go for something like STEAM and I tell my parents all the time I would have done it in a heartbeat.
I know whenever you talk and we discuss new projects and personalized AI projects for our students, you're always like, wow, how old are they? What grade they are in? Oh, are they only ninth graders, 10th graders? Wow, I wish I had some. I say that also. I wish I had someone like that, a mentor who could guide me. And we have had many mentors, blessed with many mentors in our lives, but somebody at that level to guide us step by step, and from companies like Google, Roblox, Nvidia, to tell us what is that the industry cares about, how do you go about from an idea to actually building a prototype that will set you apart, not just for college but for career and life. So yes, it is amazing what the power of a good mentor is, and what a great mentor can do for you. And talking about igniting that passion, like, yes, you may come up with an idea or a problem statement that you're passionate about, but like Rena's case, for example, she wasn't passionate about coding. And she was actually skeptical. She didn't even know whether that's something she wants to do or she can do. But the power of a good mentor like you, I'm sure she now feels like she's ready and confident, that she can not only work on her own further on this project, but if she ever decides to take on a new project, she feels like she has learned the skills as well as the tools of the trade to at least know where to find and look for answers, or even guidance and mentorship, and then she can be on her way to building great things on her own. So awesome. So power of mentorship is a real thing. So when you mentor students, for example, what is your focus on? Yes, there is a technical aspect because you are helping them build a personalized AI project. So there is code or no code depending on whatever the student wants to work on. But besides the technical skills, do you also focus on the thinking process, the project design, the storytelling? Like, what are the different pieces that I know that the STEAM and AI program covers ethics, design, thinking, and all of that, but when they are working with you, what are the things you focus on?
Yeah, yeah. And it all falls into kind of how you were talking about the storytelling, right? The greater purpose of the project. If you look at the dynamic of tech specifically today, it's rapidly changing. The accessibility to deliver is rampant, right? Anyone can go launch up Codex or they can launch Claude Code and they can pull up a website or they can put up a website if they want. It's become that accessible. But what that means is that just because everybody can do it doesn't mean everyone can do it effectively. There's all of the other building blocks that go into actually making an engineer, or more so someone that is practical with their skill set, right? That can actually deliver on it. And so what I focus more on is, of course, the design aspects, the technical aspects, but it's really like things like consumer experience. What is the product we're building? What's the story behind it? And how do we implement this? How do we translate these really abstract asks for our product into something, decomposed into an actual scope and then brought into our project, implemented thoroughly in our project, tested, vetted out, and then, of course, shipped on. So,
Yeah, wow, that is incredible. Like teaching students to think like a great product designer, product manager, and even product designer is like huge, because the UX design, the marketing, the business skills behind it, what do actually customers care about? And we also cover that in our cohorts, like, look at it from the empathy of the problem statement that you're trying to solve for your customer. Like, put yourself in their shoes, and what is it that you want to solve for them. So it's not just that, oh, I want to build this because I care about it, but now you have to go to the next level and ask your customer what is their pain point in that space. Yes, you may think that acne is something every teenager can relate to and wants a solution around it, but when you actually talk to teenagers, they may have various concerns around that skin care or acne, and doing this market research and understanding them will help you create a better product, and then the UX definitely. Awesome. So let's talk about the next generation. I know we have been talking about, but what's your advice for the next generation? You are a little bit older, just started working at Roblox. You've gone through this whole journey, so you have earned the right. So tell us, you know, in middle school, what should students be focusing on?
Yeah, of course. I think middle school is the perfect time to have that exploratory phase, go and do anything and everything. And it's I think there's like a advice point for parents because parents will start to naturally get a little more worried to be like, okay, now they're growing up and they need to start thinking about their future and grades suddenly start mattering and whatnot. So I think it's just the best thing you can do is enable your kid to exercise all of the different things that they want to try out because if they're limited or they're focused on one thing, um, it reflects in their, I guess, their own flexibility as they go to high school, their involvement in extracurriculars, give them the opportunity to do everything, be the enabler for them to try out new things, see what they like and they don't like. That will set up a great foundation for them to succeed in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. So middle school is the time to explore it, not only for technology, but even like if you want to try out different sports or different musical instruments or what have you, like middle school is the time to explore all of that because unless you try, you don't know what you may fall in love with. And then later on, that's the beauty of programs like STEAM in AI. We are able to connect whatever your passion is. And if that's you have identified something, which we will go to early high school, if you have determined that this is what you're passionate about, there are ways that you can connect those different dots in your life looking backwards, but you can't connect them. As Steve Jobs would say, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. And so, yes, middle school is a time for exploration. Similarly, what would you say for early high school? What should students be focused on? Should they start building projects, or what should they be doing with
Yeah.
vibe coding and everything that's now available, like you said? Is this something they should take on?
Yeah, 100%. I think projects for one is it's you brought up the point of vibe coding. That's making me pivot a little. But I brought this up earlier, which is accessibility, right? Now, virtually anyone can do it. Reina was our prime example. She had a passion. She tried things out, or she actually had an experience that she had in middle school, which led her to want to start building something in high school. And then she was actually able to leverage that more so than anything, the passion and the initiative to deliver on this. And now she has something that works. And so I would highly stress the fact that this is where you can actually start building depth in something. It's like go and try things out proper, go and learn a new skill, learn a technical skill, start iterating on something that will actually pave a foundation for you in college and your career. That's some people make the argument that you should, of course, enjoy your high school years, and that's without a doubt. And I don't think either of those are mutually exclusive. That's where the idea is do something that you're passionate in. If you're doing something with STEAM and AI, do it in a field, an industry that your kid is passionate about, and they are able to express themselves properly. And at the same time, in tandem, they're going and they're learning a technical skill, and which is something that they will always be able to show.
Yeah, and AI is not an option anymore. Like it is going to be there, and by the time these students complete high school and college, it will be more so embedded in our systems and industry, so much so that every role, every industry, no matter where you are or where you start, AI is going to be used. And so AI literacy is becoming table stakes now. It's becoming like you have to know it. And so there's no option of standing on the sidelines, and we have to jump in with both feet, and the sooner we start the better. And there is no excuse with tools available so readily, like people can learn how to do conversational coding. Vibe coding is that. And so yes, whether you want to learn full-fledged Python, full-on code, learn how to become a great coder and programmer and learn and build things, or do things with minimal coding but still be able to deliver great projects, it's a great time to get started with AI and with projects. So, what makes a good first project according to you versus a weak one?
think it's a theme that we've already been discussing, but it's the problem that you're solving, right? There's always a stress or an emphasis on the skill set that you're able to exemplify with it. Specifically, when you talk about, hey, I'm good with this tool or this coding language, which is that is one part of it, but the bigger piece of it is always the problem that gets addressed because that's really what showcases your ability to do something. That's your value, right? So when you are advertising yourself, whether it's to a college, whether it's to a career opportunity, that's what they're looking for, right? And then more so for yourself as well, right? If you build something and there's no outcome out of it, it's something that's just a it's complementary or it's an accessory or it's just it's cosmetic. That's the word I'm looking for. Then you can only do so much with it. You can say that you built it and then it's left at that. But if there's actual impact, if there is an actual problem that was solved, a unique problem that was solved, something that not many people have done, that is something that you can be proud of. There's an element of even self-fulfillment that comes out of it. And that's what really separates a decent project from a good.
Very true. So, a lot of great projects can be there. It can be a financial, uh, you know, project about stocks or what have you. Like, so the purpose of the project is important. Yes, technical depth and skill set is great, but things that are done with that will benefit somebody else, um, have a bigger purpose will definitely make you more fulfilled. So if you're starting with a project that is a pain point for you and for a bigger audience out there, definitely pick a project that you're passionate about, but think about the impact that this project can make. And if you have to choose between a project that is just good to have or a project for profit versus a project that can create an impact, definitely go for the project with impact because that not only makes you look good on paper, but it also makes you more fulfilled. It makes you feel like you actually did something for someone else, which is the greatest feeling in the world. So let's bring Roblox back into context. What do companies like Roblox actually look for in candidates?
Yeah, yeah. It's there's the technical barrier, of course. They're going to quiz you on your coding competency and your technical thinking and whatnot. And that's something that kids are inevitably going to be exposed to through their internships or through their even just going to school and learning this through their curriculum, right? But then it's once again, right? We keep reiterating this, but it's like, how do you actually use it, right? What have you done in the past that made these skills actually beneficial and actually worthwhile? Because that's what these companies are doing themselves at the end of the day, whether they
Yes.
are for profit or whether they're nonprofit, whatever they may be. What they're looking for is that we want to take your skill set and we want to turn it into something of value so that we can go and sell it or make the impact that we want to deliver. And if
Yeah.
you can understand that core, very simple principle, you yourself will be able to apply it into your own life with how you approach different problems and make a very valuable resume. So,
Yeah, you put it beautifully. Actually, all these companies, whether they are for profit or non-profit, they are trying to solve a problem. They are trying to give you a product or a service that will help you. And if that's not the case, nobody is going to buy that product or service. So at the end of the day, it has to be of value. And so what they are looking for in candidates is whether you will be a valuable member of our team, whether you are able to identify a problem and then find, not just talk about the problem, but also build a solution for it. So are you that person who is able to go from problem to solution? Will you be a good team player? Will you be a good person for example, the Roblox community? Will you be a great team player in terms of being a good developer, a team manager, a team leader? whatever role you are put in and you grow across the organization, they want to see from the ground up or wherever you're starting that you are there for the long haul and you are there because you believe in what they are doing for good, for the community. And if you don't believe in their vision, then you are not the right fit. So, what signals this student is ready according to you?
First and foremost, there's obviously having done these things. It's that you are tried and true in what you say you bring to the table, right? There's of course always a marketing aspect of what you're building, right? Your project or your projects or your prior experience, you have to be able to market it. But more so, it's the fact that the foundation is there to begin with. It's that what you have built out, whether it's these technical skills or it's even these soft skills that you discussed, Shilpi. It's that you are able to actually contextualize them into a real problem or and then of course actually able to showcase them when you are being interviewed about it. And that will come naturally, right? Shilpi, as you said, when you have already done it, when you have had the opportunity or even just the exposure to such things and you have the coherency to it, it will be made very apparent to your interviewer, your interviewers, or whoever it is that you may just be interacting.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Passion is infectious. And people can sense it, people can feel it, and they know that, when you talk with passion, you vibrate. So what are students over optimizing for and they're getting it wrong, according to you?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen this one too many times. It's like I completely am behind students for wanting to learn different technologies or different tools or different coding languages. Maybe even they're going the route of like focusing really hard on those data structures and algorithms. That's great. That's something you have to do. But I'm a strong believer in you should be well-rounded. You should tackle every aspect, especially when you're technical. What ends up happening is that you may become a code monkey where you are just sitting and you can write very good algorithms, but 90% of the time, nobody really wants that. People want someone who is balanced, someone that can talk to a customer, someone that can take such an abstract problem and turn it into something tangible and build the value out of just a problem, right? From start to finish. And so
Yeah.
it's that we cannot neglect these soft skills and we cannot neglect the concept of just being a problem solver rather than focusing specifically on I can write X script in Y language or with Z data structures, for example.
Yeah, and you bring up such a great point, and especially so relevant in today's day and age. Like whatever can be automated will be automated with AI. And so we are only seeing the start of this phenomena, but like basically AI will be writing a lot more code. Today, coders, full-fledged coders are also seeking help from these AI tools to even write their code, validate their code, clean their code. Of course, that's a whole another problem that they are now having to solve. But what you were saying is like the soft skills, the problem solving skills. I think those are the human skills that are going to be ours, and the more we hone in on them, the more we develop them, and the more we are able to take charge. Those are the things that will stay with us. They'll make us a better leader. They'll make us more like attractive to potential employers and colleges because those are skills that the AI can't do. So yeah, I'm like I say these things and I wait for you to come back with like, yes, I agree.
I 100% agree. That's why like I don't even have anything to add because I'm like you put it perfect.
Yeah. So, but I pause and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for Mustafa to say something here. But
Yeah.
great, awesome. So we are in sync, which is great to know. So if a parent, what is your advice for a parent who is watching this, parents of middle and high schoolers who are watching this, and their child is interested in AI but hasn't started building anything yet? What would you tell them to do next?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just get involved. It's that I found myself learning at the highest caliber with or the highest velocity when I threw myself in the deep end. And I didn't have anyone to tell me what to do, how to do it. But if you have that, if you have the resource to throw you in the deep end and hold your hand so that you can continue to learn how to tread in the water, that is the best thing that you can do to enable a student. Go and have them try these things out. Go and have them build something. Because especially in this phase of their life, they will either win or they will learn. And both of those are wins at the end of the day. So if they can get their hands on some opportunity in which I will highly condone STEAM and AI's mentorship program because this is the perfect way to get involved. I would say take advantage of that. Have them do it. The investment will always be.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And our summer round two is open. So if you're looking for everything that you heard today, and if this is something that resonates with you, and you're looking for ways to get started, go to Steam in AI and book a free 45-minute AI strategy consult, where we will assess and tell you if Steam in AI is the right fit for you, or what exactly should you and your student be doing next. So, Mustafa, I have one last question for you. I want to ask you, you are in Roblox. We still have time. We have 8 more minutes left. You are already there. Do you feel like you have arrived? What's the next uh, ladder for you?
Yeah, yeah. I think growth should never stop until the day you leave this world. It's that you should always be there should always be a destination that you're chasing because at the end of the day it's not the destination we want to reach, it's the progression that we want to continue to enjoy. That is what will keep us going. And so for me, I think what's next is that I want to also continue to get better. Of course, right now it is the AI day and age, and I want to continue to iterate on my skill set there, hence why I even took a master's degree at Georgia Tech. But just continuing to build my skill set up. How can I get more and more involved, more and more embedded? And then of course, build some kind of influence towards, helping other people, enabling other people, and then building at some point a product or be a part of a product that is influential in this kind of work about it.
Yeah, very true. So, what do you do for learning? Do you learn how to code more, or what does learning look like for you?
I think of course there's the technical side and that's what I'm being taught in my master's, all of these crazy machine learning algorithms, of course. But on the flip side, it's more so just trying new things out. I've started my career and you could say that I could sit back and relax and just kind of enjoy for the next couple of years because this is what a lot of people seek after. But it's that I don't stop trying things, whether it's a new business opportunity, whether it's something to do with just self-growth, something spiritual growth, whatever it may be. It's that put myself in something new, always continue to grow. I've started, some side businesses, some of them failed, some of them succeeded, and that's what I just continue to keep myself occupied with, keeping myself out of my comfort zone.
I love this that you mentioned, not just technical, but spiritual journey also. I think at the end of the day, that's all we can do as humans, you know. So keep on learning, keep on growing, becoming a better person, better human being, better than our competition is only with ourselves. And so if we can be better than where we were yesterday, that's awesome. So any passion project that you are currently working on that you want to share with our audience?
Um, I guess I work on some charities back home, and so that's one of the big passion projects I have is that how can I um empower community to especially those who are less fortunate. I think being in the US has helped or has enabled me to do so much. And I'm cognizant of the fact that there are massive disparities in these other countries. And so for me back at home, being able to not only, of course, provide them with the basic necessities, which is water or wells or access to clothing or rations and whatnot, but also getting involved with the universities there and leading seminars and onboarding kids into potential opportunities, even if I can fund them. If I'm at a net loss, at least financially, at the very least, I am enabling them to do something. And that kind of to tie it back to the concept of STEAM and AI or learning, giving them the enablement and the opportunity to go and deliver something and do something. That's true fulfillment for me at the end of the day, enabling other people.
That is well said. I couldn't add anything more to that. This is such an awesome high note to end on. And so I really thank you, Mustafa, for taking the time, for being such an awesome STEAM and AI mentor. We are lucky to have you. And Roblox is lucky to have you. Well, keep on learning, keep on growing. Wishing you all the best. And for everyone who joined us today, thank you. And if you have any questions for Mustafa or me, you know how to keep in touch, steaminai.org. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.